Hi everybody. In the last video, Rosemary and I made it 2/3 the way across the Atlantic. I'm heading now into our final week down towards St Lucia. We're very hopeful that the weather is going to turn nice, and sad to say, it really doesn't. Here's the video.
Look at this. Can you hear the rain? Like I repeated yesterday. As this passed, the wind has spun us around by about 45 degrees, sheeting it down. And I can't see the other side of this one. I'm wise to these things now. This wind speed's dropped as well, so I guess we're in for a little bit of a lull. We're going to lull our way through a lull. Wind's picking up again. We had a very clear, starry night. Gave me the impression that if it had been a daytime thing, it would have been a beautiful sunny day. But I guess it was quite nice to have a calm and clear night, quite fast. And then this morning it turned into a sullen rainstorm, and now we have this. There's a bit of thunder and lightning over in the distance. Quite rough, quite breezy. Makes you think the days of sunshine are over again. We're about 1 week now out from St Lucia. And so looking optimistic, it's the weekend now, hoping we'll be in the coming weekend. Would like a bit more of a suntan before we get there though. It is entirely possible, but one could get weary of this weather. See? Our friend the rain has returned, and we've also got a bit of a 360-degree light show with the lightning and thunder going on. Wow. The sky is just lit every 2 or 3 seconds by a big flash. It's quite astonishing. To be honest, apart from watching the course and the sails, there's not really much else to do. Very impressive. Look at this day that Rosemary has found for us after the horrors of the storm last night.
There is actual sun and clouds that are reasonable. Reasonable clouds. Clouds that don't look like they have evil intent on you.
Where were you on the night that this fish died, Rosemary? What can we say about last night in summary? Shall I summarise it by saying it was a violent and squally night with 30-knot squalls and lightning storms and an extraordinary amount of horizontally driven rain in absolute buckets, which has done an astonishing job at cleaning the entire cockpit so that all the teak in the cockpit is shiny, smooth and clean. And I think even Rosemary's muesli spill from a week and a half ago has finally gone.
Yes, I think it's something like that. I think you need to convey the, profound awesomeness of it.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
Just huge. Everything was huge, and it was like actually being inside the thundercloud. I think if that's a thing, that's where I think we were, because it just felt like there was nothing else in the world apart from the thunder and the lightning and little old us.
Don't forget the sideways rain.
And the sideways rain.
Certainly found the sideways rain. Any points on the deck that need resealing, the sideways rain certainly found its way through all of those in a way the sea itself never did. It was extraordinary. So much water in such a short space of time. Out this way somewhere, about 670 miles to run, is St Lucia. We're heading slightly this way to port, about 30 degrees off from St Lucia, and the wind itself would blow us directly to St Lucia, but we run a little bit off from there, so that there's some wind pressure on the side of the boat which stops it rolling about quite so much, and it also lowers the risk of this mainsail jibing, and in the end it's probably about as fast. We run a bit faster and go in the wrong direction than we would go in the right direction, so it all evens out in the end, more or less. We're aiming for St Lucia, but if we do keep going too far south, we could possibly call in on Barbados and then go back up to St Lucia. And if we're too far north, perhaps we can go to Martinique and then St Lucia. Gives us a few options anyway. Well, we just jibed the pole and had the Yankee out, and this squall came through, so we wound the Yankee in, and the furling line has parted from the drum, which caused an awful kerfuffle, as you can imagine. And so we've just pulled down the Yankee, and we're going to wait for the squall to pass, and then we'll go back and try and put it all back together again. Woohoo! We're currently running downwind. Winds at 33 knots. And this will last for about, who knows, half an hour, and then it will all calm down again. But we've got a bit of a breather, so let's go and see what's up here on the foredeck. Here we go. First step, let's see if I can move the sail and even get to the furler. Let's just move the sail, get to the furler. I have a handy place for my tools, and I'm going to have to unscrew some of this and try very hard not to drop any of it in the ocean. I think what's happened, and I'll verify this later, is the furling line's come off the drum. And the only reason it's come off the drum is because when I wound the furler in last time, I ran out of length of furling line before the sail was fully filled in. Can't work out how that would happen, because obviously we've been running with this number of turns on the furler for over 2 weeks now, and it's either something like, does the furling line stretch, would that be it, or has the sail wound increasingly tightly in each successive squall, so that it needed a more furling line to wind in than I had. Anyway, but the actual failure then was me pulling far too hard on the furling line to get that last bit in, at which point the line just popped out of its groove. Since there's not a lot of tension holding it in there, it's meant to have a few wraps of line to hold it in. So I'm going to have to disassemble this, not drop it in the ocean, pull the furling line through again, wind it up, and then when we have a quiet patch, we'll see if we can get the sail back up the groove. Haven't lost any pieces yet. This is the end of the furling line, so it didn't snap or anything like that. This is just the end of the leaves that needs to be put back through the hole in the drum and retightened. And then I need to reassemble the drum back on the rather naked looking furler. Still trying not to drop anything in, and trying to do it before the next squall comes. Come to the tropics, they said. It'll be fun. Right, making progress, not dropped anything yet. But I'm going to go in now because I think the next bit of weather may arrive before I finish, so I may as well take the time to take all the spare bits and bobs indoors, have a cup of tea, try again later. Now we just have to sit this one out.
It's the morning after, and we did finish reassembling the furler, but we're going to have to wait for a quiet patch before running that back up the mast. This isn't a quiet patch. We seem to have maybe two different competing wave groups deciding which way the waves should be going today. If we wait 5 minutes, one of these waves will come and get us. Question of whether you can finish your tea before you get soaked.
Let's see.
And look, there's hope back there.
So, Simon, on a scale of 0 to 10, where would you say your energy levels are?
Oh, 10, definitely. I'm a pumping today.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to say I don't believe you.
I just think when you get to a certain point that sleep is optional, and you enter this new zone where you become superhuman, and everything you do is error-free, and yeah, you feel marvellous, and I'd highly recommend it as a lifestyle. I think sleep is overrated. Think of those wasted hours.
Yeah.
I've got so much done.
Do you think it is possible that when you start feeling like all your work is error-free, that there may be any element of delusion, dementia or risk attached to that?
Not at all, not at all. I think I'm completely in control of my faculties. And yeah, no, my level of confidence and personal sense of self-command never been higher. Whoa, look at this wave. I knew this wave was coming, and that's how confident I am. Whoa!
Whee! Oh my lord!
See, some would say this is daunting, but when you've reached my level of delusion, it's it's simply euphoric.
Okay, it's just the way you were lying on your bunk earlier, kind of like with your arms and legs just sticking out of the bunk, not moving. It was just something about that that made me wonder.
That's simply my brace position.
Brace, brace.
Brace, brace. It's fine on the small screen. Woo!
Here we go, all back together. Got enough, many winds that I can fit on that, so I'm hoping it'll furl up fine. Now all I need to do is sort out this big mess of the sail and whoa, reattach the sheets to it. That was a drenching. Reattach the sheets to it and see if we can find a quiet patch to put it all back up again. Ready to lift. Let's see what happens. There we go, all back, all furled, and then we can finish holding the sail out onto the starboard side, which is how this whole saga started. Which must make this the 2-day jibe, the longest jibe in history. So around us now, there are increasingly large clumps of Sargassum. We've seen Sargassum all the way across, but at this point it's started to form big mats. So every so often we feel the boat is a little slow and we can't see it and no one's going in to check, but we think lots of Sargassum gets caught under the hull, around the propeller and around the bracket holding the propeller and around the rudder. So every so often we put the engine on and we run it in reverse rapidly for about 60 seconds just to try and clear anything that's up there. And it could just be us, but it seems to make an appreciable speed difference, about half a knot or so every time we do that. Give it some welly.
Rosemary was lying in her bunk,
Minding my own business.
so happy that the day had turned out finally to be sunny and friendly.
Sunny and friendly and gorgeous, and I literally was lying there thinking it's so nice to have a day that has just been sunny and gentle, and when all of a sudden, wham!
This is more like it, isn't it?
This is more like it. This is very lovely, but let's not rehearse this conversation, because what happened yesterday was we sat here going, oh, this is more like it. It's totally lovely. And then, as we know, wham! I haven't looked over my shoulder for a while though.
Just don't look. Oh, the sun's gone in.
That's slightly alarming.
It's only a tiny cloud.
Don't look now.
Don't look now.
Are you just gazing at yourself?
No.
It looks like you're just gazing at yourself.
I'm doing some atmosphere setting view forward.
I see.
What's your contribution? Ready to jive?
Yes.
Oh yeah. What is it?
They're all here.
We think these are called false killer whales, large dolphins, but let us know if you think differently.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is the 23rd of January and it's quite a nice looking day. Had a great start, but it's turned into this. We're managing to make decent progress on a beam reach, which is a bit odd, so I don't think that will last long. Nice while it does. And had a few squally nights over the last couple of days. They've been a mixed bag as usual, of some bits of sunshine, some squalls, some heavy rain and so on. So all a little tiresome, but generally with the same sail set up all the time. So pretty easy, I guess, from that point of view. And ahead of us now, over here, will be St Lucia. And we are probably a day and a half out from St Lucia, which is pretty exciting. We worked out that if we pulled out all the stops, today being Friday, we might just conceivably have managed to get into St Lucia by sunset tomorrow. But it was a bit touch and go, and we thought it probably wasn't worth adding that to the list of things that we have to do. So we may as well slow down instead and take it a bit easy and then hopefully we shall arrive in St Lucia early on Sunday morning. Possibly still a little too early because we're still a little too fast, but if so, we will wait for the sun to come up and then see if we can get into Rodney Bay. So that's the plan. Sunday morning, that's what we're hoping for, and looking pretty optimistic. We've just seen in our news feed that the transatlantic rowing boat City of Liverpool that we passed on the 15th capsized a few days ago and had to be rescued. Still, they're apparently hit by a couple of rogue waves, says the article. Doesn't seem entirely surprising, but good luck to you. Well done. Really glad I'm not you, or I'm glad I'm not any of these rowers out there. But really, what a staggering thing. About 25 miles that way, if we could but see it, would be Martinique off our starboard side. And on the other side of the boat, maybe about 40 miles that way, if we could but see it, will be St Lucia. But sadly, I think it'll get dark before we get close enough to see them, or before the clouds lift enough to see them. We'll just have to imagine that they're out there, and perhaps we'll see some lights of them somewhere around midnight. It's 1 AM and we've just put the anchor down in Rodney Bay, St Lucia. How curious that we have woken up and found ourselves anchored here this morning in Rodney Bay. Now we just need to do some work. We need to get the pole down finally, sort ourselves out, and go and see if we can go and do customs and immigration. Score on the tank. So for water, it looks like we're just over, we've used just over half a tank, almost half a tank left. I think that's about right. And diesel, we've used about half a tank, and to be honest, a fair portion of that is going to have been just running the alternator because of the lack of solar we've got on this trip. So that's not bad, 3 weeks in approximately.
Station to Rodney Bay Marina, come back.
Rodney Bay, this is sailing vessel Samphire. Very good morning to you. We have a reservation from today. Length is 10.5 meters, over.
Stand by. Side 2, Captain, port side 2. It's on the eastern side of the aqueduct, so it's a downward slip, it's downwind. So you just give us a call back at 16 and let us know. And you're now just entering the entrance.
Okay, we'll call on 16 when we're coming in. Thank you very much.
Captain, we'll be standing by for you. Proceed.
Excellent. That's a full boat of fun-loving people.
Standing by at 16.
It says it's very shallow.
Stern, yeah? Change that line, leave that line right where it is. Do not change that. Leave it right where it is. If you change that line, it's off.
Look, hot drinks in mugs, but don't spill.
Wow.
Proper cup of tea. I have cleaned myself up and I'm now going to go and see if I can get customs and immigration done. Wish me luck.
Don't do yourself that. That almost knocked me out at my home already. Where you?
We're down here on this pontoon amongst all these decent sized boats, on hulls, catamarans, and I'm sure there might have been a smaller space for us since we have enough room for a giant catamaran where we are, but compared to the size of the other boats, just look at us. Look how much space we have around us. It's a bit like a missing tooth, just us. Does make you think we're terribly small, but we have gone round the marina and checked, and there are a few other boats our size, so it isn't just us. So we are done. 20 days and 18 hours since we left Gran Canaria, and absolutely delighted to be here because now we are going to go and find someone else to make us drinks and feed us, and that in itself would be an absolute miracle.